Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this third IACRC IO, and I am going to present the topic adipocytes, a necessary devil in our body. So, before going into the topic, before going into the topic, I would like to say what are adipocytes and why they are necessary in our body, and why we don't need adipocytes at some point of time in our body. So, coming to the coming to the first slide, so what are adipocytes? So basically, adipocytes are known as lipocytes or fat cells, and their main function is to store the extra energy in the form of fat. And the extra amount of energy which is stored in our body is stored in the form of fat or triglyceride, which is the most stable molecule in our body. And these adipocytes are developed from mesenchymal stem cells, and here is an staining image of adipocytes, how they are stained and they are seen under microscope. And these are basically round structures. These are all the vacuole, the lipid droplet that are present inside the cell. So coming on to the next slide, there are how many type of adipocytes are there. There are basically three types of adipocytes. The first one is the white adipocytes. In case of white adipocytes, the large lipid droplet is present in. There is only one large lipid droplet that is present inside white adipocyte, and the nucleus and the mitochondria are pushed towards the periphery. In case of the white adipocyte, white adipocytes are mostly pro-inflammatory in nature, and they have the tendency of resisting insulin. So coming on to
Pratik,
the
what
sorry,
is pro? What is pro-insistent? What you told that?
pro-inflammatory.
Yeah, what is that?
Pro-inflammatory means basically the white adipocytes are more likely to keep the extra amount of energy or food inside themselves in the form of triglyceride, and don't allow them to be utilized. That is means the pro-inflammatory means they white adipocytes are basically prone towards the increase of size rather than increase in the number.
Okay, means their ability to store the fat or food that is referred as pro-inflammatory.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Continue.
coming on to the next type of adipocytes, those are brown adipocytes. In case of brown adipocytes, the lipid those are stored inside the brown adipocytes are multilocular, not unilocular like white adipocytes. And the brown color come in these adipocytes as due to the high amount of mitochondria present inside the adipocytes. So these brown adipocytes are mainly unlike white adipocytes, brown adipocytes are not so pro-inflammatory, and they have the capability of sensing insulin. And coming to the third type of adipocytes, those are beige adipocytes. Beige adipocytes are a intermediate between white adipocytes and brown adipocytes. And it has been seen that when white adipocytes are given some type of stimulus, then they tend to become beige adipocytes. So coming on to the next slide, where are the adipocytes found? In brown adipocytes are mostly found near our neck region, and that is the only depot of brown adipocyte in our body. Whereas white adipocytes are found inside bone marrow, around liver, around organs, and subcutaneous adipose fat depot is also there. Visceral adipose fat depot is also there. So mostly white adipocytes are found all through our body, whereas brown adipocyte is found only near the neck portion of our body. So coming to the next slide, what is the origin of the adipocytes? So basically, adipocytes originate from mesenchymal stem cell. But coming to the different type of adipocytes, the brown adipocyte mostly generate from the MIF5 progenitor cells. We can see that in case of brown adipocyte, if we backtrack them, then we can see that there is written MIF5 plus. So mostly brown adipocytes are formed from MIF5 progenitor cells, whereas white and beige adipocytes are formed from MIF5 negative progenitor cells. And coming to the next slide, what is the difference of rate of fatty acid in case of white adipose tissue and brown adipose tissue?
No, Pratik. Yeah, I could not understand means how they originate. how these adipocytes originate?
They
So,
basically they originate from means the mesenchymal stem cells. They undergo commitment step in which they get committed into.
what is that mesenchyma stem cell?
These are basically stem cells that are found in the body. Okay,
Okay.
when the what shall I say? When the baby is in the womb, then at that time the baby is grown from a single cell. So at that time,
Yeah.
the only single
Hmm.
cell that keeps on dividing, and the cells differentiate into different types of cells. The single cell only differentiates into different types of cells. Before that,
Hmm.
it is only a mass of cells. At that time, these are
Hmm.
called as stem cells. So when these stem
Okay.
cells are present, at that time they get committed into MIF5 positive progenitor cells or MIF5 negative progenitor cells. Okay,
Hmm.
and from MIF5 positive progenitor cells, brown adipocytes, muscle, those develop. Whereas from MIF5
Hmm.
negative progenitor cells, white adipocyte and beige adipocytes develop.
Okay. So, is there anything, any mechanism like which
Till now,
body prefers to develop more towards the white adipocytes rather than towards brown adipocytes? Because you told me it only present near the neck and rest of the body
yeah,
white, mostly white are present. So, is there any mechanism that why body prefers to have white adipocytes more compared to the
it
brown?
depends it depends everything with you only. If you want to eat a lot and sit, then at that time your body will store all the energy in the form of white adipocyte and not there. Then at that time the body, there is no work of brown adipocyte. But if you exercise, if you exercise, if you give stimulus to your brown adipocyte, then at that time the white adipocyte will use all their fat and triglyceride content to give energy to the body. So it depends all on people. It is not that body decides, it is the people decide who they want to keep white adipocyte or brown adipocyte.
Okay, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, Swastik, we have a
So
question.
ah
Uh, in later stage of our life, like you told, mesenchymal stem cells, where are these located? Like blood is originated in bone marrow from the stem cells, type of stem cell.
yeah, yeah.
Where are these stem cells located, and where is the adipocytes formed in latest stage of our life?
Later stage in your life, whenever it is not like that. There are two that where in later stage of life there are two type of phenomena occur. Okay, one is that when the amount of food your intake is more, then two things will be happening. Either the size of brown adipocyte the size of white adipocyte will become big. Otherwise, more number of white adipocytes will be formed. Okay, but basically, white adipocyte prefer to enlarge in size rather than dividing or forming more adipocytes. Okay, and coming to your first question, that where are stem cells found? Stem cells are basically found in the umbilical cord of mother, or uh, if I will say in experimental case of you, we take stem cells from pregnant mice. Okay, so it depends from where you take and what.
Okay, so it is like that after the birth, these adipocytes are dividing, not regenerating from the stem cells.
No, no. Before birth only they are committed that they will be adipocyte. Not after
Yeah,
birth.
yeah,
Before birth only they are
yeah,
committed that they will be adipocytes.
yeah.
Am I clear
In
now?
I was in doubt. Like in blood cells are continuously forming new blood cells in the more bone marrow from the stem cells. That's why
Yeah.
I asked. It is
And there is a
okay.
also
Okay.
recent finding is also there. If we put adipocytes in bone marrow, then the amount of RBC production increases. So they don't still these works are going on because this is still a new field. Only 2007 or 2008 people started looking into adipocytes.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Please proceed.
shall I shall I continue?
Yeah. Yeah. Please.
So coming on to the next slide, the difference in the fate of fatty acids in white adipose tissue and brown adipose tissue. So in case of white adipocyte, what happens? The fatty acid comes and it undergoes fatty acid esterification to give glucose 3 phosphate. They undergo fatty acid esterification with glucose 3 phosphate and form triglycerides and are stored in the body and are stored in the cell. But when the body needs energy at that time, this triglyceride undergo lipolysis to form glycerol, which goes to different part of the body, or they form fatty acid, which goes to different part of the body where they are oxidized and energy is produced. Coming to the brown adipocyte, in case of brown adipocyte, the same thing happens that the fatty acid comes, it undergoes fatty acid esterification with glycerol 3 phosphate, and then it is stored in the form of triglyceride. And when they need, either the fatty acids undergo beta oxidation or they are transported to different organs of the body. The main difference between brown adipocyte and white adipocyte is that in case of brown adipocyte, beta oxidations take place. And what is beta oxidation? This is a unique phenomena that is present in brown adipocyte, which is that in case of brown adipocyte, there are large number of mitochondria. So what happens is that in mitochondria, we know that electron transport chain occurs, where the proton gradient is being used for producing ATP. But in case of brown adipocytes, there is a protein whose name is uncoupling protein 1, UCP1. What happens in case of brown adipocytes? This UCP1 is present in large amount inside the mitochondrial inner membrane, and when this proton gradient is formed, they leak this proton gradient and the amount of energy that is produced is not being used for making ATP, rather it is used for maintaining the body temperature. And this type of thermogenesis is known as non-shivering thermogenesis, because whenever we feel cold, we start to shiver. We will shiver for around 1 minute or around 2 minutes, like that. But we won't be shivering for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, because after 2 minutes or 3 minutes, this brown adipocyte gets activated and they start producing this. They start producing this, and they start thermogenesis by UCP1 protein, and through this they maintain the body temperature of individuals. Am I clear now?
Yeah, I have a question here.
Hmm.
So you told that this brown adipocyte, via thermogenesis, they maintain the body temperature. So is there any link? Is there any link between air thermogenesis and the regular body temperature? Both we have of around 37 or so.
Sorry.
Is there any link between the thermogenesis of brown adipocyte and the normal body temperature? What we have?
The normal body temperature is the body temperature the body has to maintain. It will maintain itself. But if we go to cold, then that time your body temperature starts to decrease. That time these brown adipocytes get activated to produce the brown adipocytes activate UCP1, through which the thermogenesis
Okay.
takes place. That time only
So
it
in
gets
normal,
activated.
okay. In normal situations, they are inactivated. They remain dormant.
Yeah, in normal situation they are not that much activated.
Okay.
I will come in
Okay.
later sets. I will show how this. I will show graph also. I will show histology also. And I will explain that how this process takes place.
One question I have. So, is there like a cutoff temperature at which brown adipocytes come into play?
Cutoff temperature, no, means if that's what I'm saying. Once I go into the result part and I will show you result, now then you will get to know that whenever the temperature that is provided to the individual is less than its body temperature, at that time only these brown adipocytes get activated, and they
So
start.
it's sort of a continuous activation. I mean, as the temperature decreases, the activation is sort of continuous.
Yeah, it is continuous until unless the environment gets suitable for the individual.
Okay.
Hello, Swastik.
Hmm.
Hello, Swastik. Brown adipocyte. Can you please explain the whole process again? There are the picture is little bit more complicated. So can you please explain it again?
Sure. So coming to brown adipocyte, in case of brown adipocyte, what happens when fatty acid comes? It undergoes fatty acid esterification with glycerol 3 phosphate, and they get stored in the form of triglyceride. But when our body needs energy, then that time the triglyceride undergoes lipolysis to form glycerol and undergoes a reversible reaction to form fatty acid. both the glycerol and fatty acids are transported to different parts of the body where the energy where we need the energy. But brown adipocyte also has the capability of utilizing these fatty acids through beta oxidation. So it can also utilize its own fatty acids through for beta oxidation and can maintain the body temperature of the individual.
So that beta oxidation is causing something to temperature.
Yeah.
How is that like helping us? That part. How is that changing the temperature? I just want to know.
So in case of beta oxidation, what happens? In case of beta oxidation, what happens that the beta oxidation takes place mostly. The beta oxidation takes place in mitochondria, and in case of brown adipocyte, the amount of mitochondria is high, and when the fatty acid comes into the mitochondria and enters into electron transport chain, then at that time the proton gradient is formed in between the outer and inner membrane of mitochondria. In brown adipocyte mitochondria, the inner membrane of the mitochondria has a protein known as uncoupling protein 1, UCP1. So what happens? What this protein does? This protein uses the proton gradient and leaks the proton gradient not to form ATP, rather to use that energy for maintaining the body temperature. This is known as non-severing thermogenesis. Am I clear now?
Yeah, it's clear.
Can I continue?
Yeah.
So when the amount of white adipocyte gets more in our body, then at that time people turn obese. And when people turn obese, then at that time a lot of factors and a lot of chemicals that are activated in our body which we don't need. For example, in this picture, where the normal weight, if we are in normal weight, then adipsin, bispatine, resistin, leptin, and adiponectin all are in normal level. But in case of obese person, this adipsin, bispatine, resistin, and leptin level goes high. Once the level of these four enzymes goes high, then they start to resist insulin. And once the body starts resisting insulin, then at that time we have type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes means that is insulin independent diabetes. So anyway, we are obese, we are having obesity. This is one problem. Again, this obesity leads to type 2 diabetes. So it's like we are inviting more and more metabolic diseases. And so coming to the next, I will say how we can combat this, both of them, how everything will be managed. Coming to the next slide, how to combat obesity and type 2 diabetes. So it has been recently seen that there are some food supplements which help in the browning of white adipocytes, like capsaicin and capsinoids. Those are found mainly in pepper and capsicum. Resveratrol found in mulberries and grapes, and curcumin which are found in turmeric roots. It has been seen that upon these food supplements, browning of white adipocytes are most likely to take place. And it has also been seen that upon cold treatment to mice, the white adipocytes shows a browning phenomenon. I will show this data, and it is also been seen that in the absence of hepsin in the liver, browning of white adipocyte is increased, because it is seen that the hepsin inhibits the browning of white adipocytes. And coming to the last one, recently in our lab only we have seen that the sesaminol, which is a product of sesame seeds, induces browning of white adipose tissue. So after this, I would like to show some experimental data, and I will explain them detail. And coming to the experimental results, first I will like to show that the browning of adipose tissue, that how the browning of white adipose tissue takes place upon cold exposure. So coming to this data, we can see that in left side there is BAT. BAT is nothing but brown adipose tissue. EVAT is epididymal white adipose tissue. That means the white adipose tissue that are present near our gonads. And IVAT is the inguinal vat, or subcutaneous white adipose tissue. So it has been seen that when 25 degrees Celsius temperature is there, then three of them show the normal phenotype which they have to show. Upon treating them with cold, means upon giving 4 degrees Celsius, at that time we can see that the the amount of browning, means the amount of what shall I say, the amount of lipid droplets increases. That means the size of lipid droplets goes on decreasing. Similarly, with case of EVAT also, we can see that in the above figure, the size of lipid droplets are big, whereas in case of in 4 degrees Celsius, the amount of lipid droplets decreases, which clearly shows that upon cold exposure there is a browning, means the phenotype of EVAT and that of brown adipose tissue at 25 degrees Celsius is almost similar. So we can say that there is a browning of white adipose tissue upon cold exposure. Similarly, with the case of IVAT. And coming to the down figure, in case of UCP1, we can clearly see that this is in case of brown adipose tissue, this figure, and it is clearly seen that in case of 25 degrees Celsius, the green green mark that is there is for UCP1 protein. We can see that upon 25 degrees Celsius, the amount of UCP1 protein is less. But in case of 4 degrees Celsius, the amount of UCP1 protein is more. And coming to and this means that is the DAPI and UCP1 both are merged to store this one. So it is clearly seen that upon cold exposure, the amount of UCP1 increases, and the amount of UCP1 is more in case of and the amount of UCP1 is more in case of brown adipocytes rather than in case of white adipocytes. So coming on to the graph that is on the right side, this this is a graph of qPCR, and it is the SIDA, DO2, ELO, VL3, PGC1, alpha, PRDM16, and UCP1. These are all brown adipocyte specific genes. So we can clearly see that in case of 25 degrees Celsius, their expression were less in case of brown adipocyte. Whereas in 4 degrees Celsius, their expression increases. The amount of expression of those gene increases, clearly stating that the adipocyte is trying to become brown adipocyte rather than staying in the form of white adipocyte. Similarly, in case of EVAT also, we can see that the amount of expression of gene increases upon the cold exposure, upon 4 degrees Celsius treatment. We can see that the amount of level of mRNA also increases. Similarly, with case of IVAT also, the amount of mRNA expression or the amount of gene expression increases upon 4 degrees Celsius treatment, which clearly states that upon the cold exposure, the white adipose tissue wants and tries to become brown adipose tissue. Okay, and coming to the second part, that sesaminol induces brown and beige adipocyte formation. We can clearly see that in this figure, we are looking into brown adipose tissue, and we can see that in control case, the amount of what shall I say, the size of lipid droplets in case of brown adipose tissue, the size of lipid droplet in case of brown adipose tissue is more, but in case of sesaminol treated, the size of lipid droplet is less. So it clearly states that upon sesaminol treatment, the amount of size of lipid droplet decreases, and this is obviously brown adipose tissue. So not much difference we can see. But upon calculating number of lipid droplet, the number of lipid droplet in the cell is increased with respect to control. And we have previously seen that in case of white adipocyte, the amount of lipid droplet, the number of lipid droplet is 1, whereas in case of brown adipocyte, the number of lipid droplet is multilocular. So here we can clearly state that upon sesaminol treatment, the adipocytes try to become brown adipocyte. If they are brown adipocyte also, they get activated, and if they're white adipocyte, and in next slide I will show what happens to white adipocyte. In case of white adipocyte, also we will see a change. And coming to the area of lipid droplet, in case of control, the area of lipid droplet is big. We can see that the graph goes up to 0.6, 0.7. That is big. The area of lipid droplet is big. They're coming to sesaminol treated, the area of lipid droplet comes down to zero point 0.3 or something like that. So the amount of area of the lipid droplet decreases. Similarly, here in the case of figure D, number of lipid droplets, we can see that um, the large number of lipid droplets are more in case of control with respect to the sesaminol treated animal. And the triglyceride content also in figure E, we can see that the triglyceride content also is less in case of sesaminol treated animal with respect to control animal. And if triglyceride content is less, that means that the cell has less amount of fat in it. So see, we can clearly say that upon SML treating the upon the treatment of SML, the body tries to use the fat rather than storing it. So coming to the next figure, this is basically RT-PCR, qPCR. That is the
Hello. Yeah, I have a question in the previous slide. You told previously that in obese person, due to the release of four enzymes you mentioned, the insulin activity become resistant. So is that sesaminol has the same fate as the insulin, or it is not affected by?
See, the mechanism of how sesaminol works in our body is still unknown. Okay, we are still working on the mechanism. We only just have seen that sesaminol induces browning, but how it induces, to which transcriptional factor it binds, how it regulates the mitogen specific genes and brown adipose specific genes, that still we don't know.
Okay. Okay, continue.
So coming to the next figure, this is a qPCR. Hello. Hello.
You're audible. Go ahead. You're audible.
Go ahead.
Okay. So coming to this figure, that we have done qPCR and Western blot. So coming to figure F, this is the qPCR we have done after sesaminol treatment, and we have seen that these side A, EBF3, ELO, VL3, PGC1 alpha, PPAR alpha, PRDM16, and UCP1, which are written as brown specific genes. These are the genes that is specific to brown adipocytes. And upon sesaminol treatment, we can clearly see that the main four brown adipose specific genes, side A, EBF3, ELO, VL3, and UCP1 expression increases. That means that upon the treatment of sesaminol, the amount of UCP1 expression increases. Means that the adipocyte tries to become brown adipocyte. And coming to the figure G, it is written this is mitospecific genes. Mitospecific genes means this is mitochondria specific genes, COX5B, COX7A1, COX8B, and cytochrome C. So here also we can see that upon sesaminol treatment, the expression of mitochondria specific genes also increases, and we have clearly seen that the specificity and the characteristics of brown adipocyte is that it helps in non-severing thermogenesis, and it has UCP1, and it has more amount of mitogen specific genes. So when we see that the amount of mitogen specific gene increases, that means the adipocyte is trying to become brown adipocyte. Coming to figure H, this is a Western blot, and in this Western blot we can see that the first three lane are control lane, whereas the last three lane are sesaminol treated animal. So we can see that upon sesaminol treatment, the UCP1 expression, the bandwidth and the darkness of the band increases, which shows that UCP1 protein level increases upon sesaminol treatment. And coming to this one where it is written OXPHOS is basically a mocktail of 5 antibodies, and these 5 antibodies are specific to 5 complexes of mitochondria. And we can clearly see, means in this Western blot, maybe it is difficult to see, but in figure I, it is clearly this Western blot is quantified, and we can clearly see in figure I that upon the sesaminol treatment, the UCP1 expression also goes high, and so does the 5 complexes of mitochondria expression also goes high. So it is clearly stating that the adipocyte which we are having upon sesaminol treatment tries to become brown adipocyte, and once we have more brown adipocyte in our body, then our risk to be resistant towards insulin will be less. So we can combat both we can combat both obesity and type 2 diabetes through this. So coming on to the OCR means oxygen consumption rate, and it is previously been seen that the amount of oxygen consumed by same amount of brown adipocyte is much more with respect to that of white adipocyte, because white adipocyte have one or max two mitochondria in it, and mitochondria in requires oxygen for energy production. But in case of brown adipocytes, the amount of oxygen, the amount of mitochondria is more inside them, so the amount of oxygen they absorb for energy production and non-severing thermogenesis is more. So here we can see that upon sesaminol treatment, the amount of oxygen consumption increases, clearly stating that the mitochondrial level must have increased by, or the activity of mitochondria must have increased, by which the oxygen consumption has also increased. Coming to the next slide, here we have looked into white adipose tissue, and here we can clearly see that in case of control and sesaminol treatment in 100x, we can see that in case of control 100x, the amount of cell size is very big, but whereas in case of sesaminol treated 100x, the amount of cell size decreases, which clearly and this is, and we have previously also we have seen that brown adipocyte also has same type of histology, like here in SML treated white adipose tissue. And coming to figure B, we can see that the cell size in case of control is much high with respect to that of the sesaminol treatment. And coming to figure C, the number of lipid droplet in one cell is less because they are white adipocyte. And in case of white adipocyte, amount of lipid droplet in per cell is 1. So the number of lipid droplet per cell in control is less, whereas the number of lipid droplet in case of sesaminol treatment is much high. And in case of brown adipocytes, the brown adipocytes are multilocular, and they have large number of lipid droplets inside them. And from this quantification and histology data, coming to figure D, the area of lipid droplet in case of control is much high with respect to that of sesaminol treatment. That means sesaminol treated adipocytes have less area. That means small lipid droplets are there everywhere. And from these data, we can clearly state that upon sesaminol treatment, the white adipocytes try to become brown adipocyte. And coming to next figure, here also I will clearly show you that in figure E, we can see that in case of brown, these are white adipocytes. I'm again stating that these are white adipocytes, but upon treating them with sesaminol, we can see that the amount of brown specific genes like SIDA, ELOVL3, EBF3, and UCP1 expression increases around 5 to 10-fold increase is seen in case of these genes. That clearly states that these adipocytes try to become brown adipocyte, and they try to become brown adipocyte, and the amount of mitochondria in them also increases. Similarly, you can see that in case of figure F, the mitochondria specific gene level also increases in case of sesaminol treatment. Coming to a similar Western blot that I showed before, this also shows that in first 3 lane is control, whereas last 3 lanes are sesaminol treatment. And we can see that in last 3 lanes, the amount of UCP1 level increases with respect to that of first 3 lane. And coming to that of oxphos also, you can see that all the complexes, the amount of protein expression in those complexes increases with respect to that of control. So this Western blot was then quantified, and we can clearly see in figure H that all the gene level has increased upon sesaminol treatment. Coming to oxygen consumption rate also, we can clearly see that the amount of sesaminol the amount of oxygen consumed by sesaminol treated white adipocyte is much more with respect to that of the control. And here we can clearly see that upon sesaminol treatment, there is a browning phenomena or beige browning phenomena in which the white adipocytes try to become brown adipocytes. And coming into the how hypsin inhibits adipocyte browning in mice is still unknown. This is a recent paper. This was published in May 18, 2020, and hypsin is a serine protease enzyme that is present inside the liver, and it also upon presence of when hypsin is present in our body, at that time the adipocyte browning is stopped or it's decreased. We can clearly see in this figure. This is KO means knockout mice. That means hypsin is knocked out in this mice. That means hypsin production is not there in this mice. And we can clearly see in figure J that there we can clearly see that in case of J, that the hypsin knockout mice has more amount of the cell size decreases, the lipid size decreases in case of brown adipose with respect to brown adipose tissue. Similarly, in case of knockout also, inguinal vat that they're showing, the amount of lipid droplet also decreases in case of knockout mice with respect to wild type mice. Same phenomena also we can see in case of same phenomena also we can see in case of in case of EVAT. Okay, so coming on to the figure I, it is seen that in case of figure I, the in case of figure I, that the weight of brown adipose tissue in case of knockout mice is less. Same is seen in case of IVAT and EVAT, that in the amount of the amount of adipocyte is less with comparison to that of control. And coming to that of adipocyte size, the wild type has the adipocyte size of wild type is much more with respect to that of knockout, and same is in case of the EVAT or epididymal vat. And coming to the conclusion.
Okay, there are some questions from Abhinav and Shivam.
Yeah, I have seen them. Shall I answer once it gets completed?
Okay, as you.
So coming to the conclusion, so the brown adipose tissue mostly use the stored fat for producing energy in our body and maintaining thermogenesis through UCP1. And coming to white adipose tissue, unlike brown adipose tissue, it has pro-inflammatory and has resistance towards increase, which possesses the major risk to obesity and diabetes. And the mechanism by which this browning of white adipose tissue is happening is still unknown. And once we get to know the mechanism, once we get to know the mechanism, then we can easily develop a drug which can help in the browning phenomenon of the white adipocyte tissue, thereby combating two diseases at the same time, obesity and type 2 diabetes. Thank you. Any questions anyone has?
Yeah, there are
a couple of questions in the chat. I think, yeah, there are a couple of questions in the chat.
Okay. Shivam, there are backup is it the case if one has more brown adipocyte, the one is more exposed to cold? The one is more exposed to cold. The possibility of being obese is less. The more you get exposed to brown, the more you get exposed to cold, it's like the more the white adipose tissue, the triglycerides that are present in the white adipose tissue are mostly be used up by brown adipocytes to maintain the body temperature. But once the need for the energy need for maintaining the body temperature is more, and if brown adipocyte can provide that amount of energy, then at that time white adipocytes try becoming brown adipocytes to provide that amount of energy. And isn't it the case that one has more brown adipocytes and the one is more exposed to cold. Not is the case, because once you get exposed to cold, the white adipocytes try becoming brown adipocytes. And it has been seen that it is experimentally been seen that if we expose mice to 4 hours in 4 degrees Celsius, that is enough to see browning in white adipose tissue. The possibility of being obese is less. Maybe the possibility, yeah. Once the white adipocytes gets used up, then the possibility of getting obese will be less, because the white adipocytes are the main, not the main, but maybe the major victim, which uh, which resist insulin in our body. And coming to Avinav, area is the surface area of the droplets, or any, yeah, area is the surface area of the droplets. We calculate the perimeter of the droplets of lipid. If it is surface area, then number of droplets is more after treatment of SML. Then the area must increase. No. The number of surface gets the number of surface. If the area, the droplet number is more, then after treatment, we don't add the area. If one lipid droplet has one certain area, we calculate that area only. We don't add all the areas that is present inside the tissue or the cell. We don't add all those areas. We check here the area of lipid droplets. Means the lipid droplet has how much area. Because in case of white adipose tissue, there is one big lipid droplet, so the area will be more. So in case of brown adipose tissue, there are multilocular lipid droplets, so the surface area of the lipids will be less. That's the reason we are showing the surface area of lipid droplets. We don't add the surface area of the lipid droplets in a cell. Okay, this much is the question.
I have a few questions.
Yeah.
Should I scoot?
Yeah.
Okay. First, could you go to the slide showing the difference between normal and obese person?
1 minute. Yeah.
Right. No, not this one. Yeah. Right. So the increase of all of these chemicals and the decrease of adiponectin. So is this independent of each other, or is there a regulating factor amongst these?
Still the mechanism is not known, that how are they are means how are they dependent on one another. Still it is not known till now, because it has been seen that in case of obese person, this gets high and adiponectin gets low. But the mechanism or if we get the mechanism of leptin only, then how it influences resistin or all other things, that is still unknown.
Right. The next question is, when you talk about the browning of white adipocytes, so do you mean that they completely turn into brown adipocytes, or they show certain gene expression?
No. That is an interesting fact that I forgot to say, that if you give them cold treatment, see, when we gave them cold treatment, they try to turn brown adipocyte. But once you remove the cold treatment from them, they again will turn into white adipocyte. That's why still it is not known that who directs them to become brown at one time and white at one time. Even in the case of sesaminol treatment also, if we continuously treated these animals for 24 days, after that we saw this result. But if we have not checked it, but once we withdraw sesaminol, obviously, because there is no need of body to produce more energy. Once there is no drug, there is no need of production of more energy. Then why will white adipocyte become brown? They will again come back to white adipocyte, and they will rest. They will store the fat and they will enjoy.
So basically, browning is a temporary phenomena.
Yeah, it's a temporary phenomena. But we are seeing that upon treatment, we are seeing that this temporary phenomenon is seen. But on what factor this temporary phenomena works on, that we don't know. If we know the factor, if we know the transcriptional factor, or if we know the protein or anything that goes and binds and does this type of regulates the cell like this, if we can stop or block those expressions, then we can get a permanent phenomenon. Until unless all of them are linked and we give a external stimulus to activate or deactivate that, then it is temporary phenomenon.
So, for example, there are two cases of browning that, let me bring up two cases of browning. For example, browning due to cold and browning due to sesaminol. So brown adipocytes do they function the exact same things as regular brown adipocytes do, or in each case the brown adipocytes function exactly to counter the phenomena? So for example, in case of cold, for example, it would do exactly as what's needed to heat up the body and not do other things. Do you get my question? So for example, you are treating with sesaminol, the brown adipocytes that are produced due to browning, do they exactly do all that's required to counteract the phenomena that cause them? So for example, they'll counteract the sesaminol treatment, or do they counteract other things as well? For example, cold.
See, it has been seen that they counteract cold through maintaining the body temperature. But in case of sesaminol, what they counteract, that is still unknown, because we recently this paper was published in our lab, and we saw that upon sesaminol treatment we see this factor. Okay, because once we treated sesaminol in cell culture, it was in cell culture we treated sesaminol, and we saw that the mitogen specific gene amount increases, and then we got an idea that why not treat them with mice or animals, and after that when we treated we got all these results.
So basically, sesaminol, so brown adipocytes which are formed due to sesaminol treatment also counter cold.
It is not seen because upon we measured a lot of things. We measured their body temperature. We measured everything, and all of them were same, because the amount of food intake was same for both for control and sesaminol treatment mice. The body weight of both of them were same for control and sesaminol treatment mice. But coming to the adipocytes, we have seen that in case of sesaminol treatment, the adipocytes try to turn brown, and they activate the brown specific genes in white adipocytes. This is what we have seen, and other further experiments are going on. If something new comes, then I will let you know.
One final question: are the same brown specific genes activated in both cases of cold and sesaminol treatment?
Yeah. You can clearly see. I will show you. This is in cold exposure. Cold exposure, we have this brown specific genes, SIDA, DO2, ELOVL3, PGC1 alpha, PRDM16, and UCP1. Okay. Similarly, in case of this also, the same amount of gene is there: SIDA, EBF3, ELOVL3, PGC1 alpha, PPAR alpha, PRDM16, UCP1. These are all brown specific genes.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, I have one more question. So you are saying that the white ones they get converted into the brown ones, but the brown adipocytes have more number of mitochondria content compared to the white ones. So is that the mitochondria content increases?
No, the mitochondria in white adipocytes get activated more. They don't increase mitochondria content don't increase. The lipid size decreases, and the mitochondria that is present in white adipocytes they get activated.
Okay.
I think Shivam has one more questions. Are these enzymes presence can be the characteristic of obesity, at least chemically? May I ask the motivation for sesaminol in layman's term? Okay, the motivation for sesaminol. Okay, so the motivation for sesaminol came from sesame seeds, and it is seen that in case of cold countries, people take more sesame seeds when they are liable to cold, or when they are exposed to cold. They take more sesame seeds, and from this there was a paper which got released around 2 to 3 years back. This project is quite a bit means what I said. 2 to 3 years back project is this one, because the the sesame seeds has 3 to 4 kind of product in it, like sesamine, sesaminol, sesamon. They have 3 products in it, and upon treatment with three of them we treated in cell culture, and saw that the amount of induction in case of sesaminol is much more with respect to sesamon and sesamine. So that's why we choose sesaminol. And are these enzymes presence can be characteristic of obesity, at least chemically? Yes, the presence of the enzymes are the characteristics of obesity. And Abhinav has one more question, that what does those stars represent on some of the graphs? This is a very nice observation, Abhinav. these stars represent that whenever we show some data, we have to be sure that the data that we are showing is significant or not. For doing the significance, for calculating that the data is significant or not, we do t-test and calculate the significance of both the data. If the data is significant, then we put stars, and if we put 3 stars, that means I may have, there will be 3 stars. Yes, in this case of figure E, yellow VL3, we can see that 3 stars. 3 star means this data is much more significant. And coming to 2 star, because whenever we do the significance calculation, that time it will give a value. If the value is less than 0.001, that means the data is much more significant. That time we put 3 star. But when the value is less than 0.01, then at that time we put 2 star. And when the value is more or less than 0.05, then at that time we put 1 star. And if there is no star on it, that means the data is not significant and the data that is showing is not valid at all until unless star mark is there. And we can also see that there are a lot of graphs here where the star mark is not there. That means the data is not that much significant. That means we can't rely on that data until unless the data is significant. We can't rely on that data.
Carrying forward from Shivan's question, that when you said that in cold countries people take sesame seeds, so do you think that the browning of white adipocytes in case of sesaminol treatment and in case of cold treatment, both of the mechanisms are similar?
We don't know, because we don't know. Neither we know the mechanism how 4-degree upon cold treatment adipocyte chain become brown, and in case of sesaminol treatment how they become brown. We don't know the mechanism. If we get to know the mechanism, then we can only say that the mechanism is same or not.
Right. Okay.
Okay, any more questions? Anyone? First year, second year? Who are there from the first year? Swagata, Rohan.
Shall I stop sharing this one?
I think
when you talk about significance, you're talking in terms of hypothesis testing, right?
I think it's from the error bar is saying something.
Yes.
Sorry, Archie.
Yeah, I'm saying when you talk about significance, are you talking in terms of hypothesis testing and p-value?
Yeah, p-value.
Right.
Okay. That's a statistical method to test null hypothesis.
Yeah, right. That was precisely what I was asking.
Yeah. We test the p-value.
Right.
Shall I stop sharing screen, or
if no one has any
more questions?
If no one has any question,
anyone from first year? Anyone has questions from first year or something? Like, don't feel intimidated or something. You can have the simplest questions ever, and we're fine with that.
Is there anyone from first year? First of all,
I think there are people from
first year.
Is there anyone from first year? Like, let's ask this question.
I think there are people from first year.
I have one question. I will ask in between if anyone is there. So you told 3 types of tissues, adipocytes: brown, white, and beige. And you told that white sometimes they get converted to beige one. So is there any possibility that those beige adipocytes, they will get permanently converted, or they will be induced to brown?
Beige adipocytes are basically intermediate in our body. If we give cold treatment, then if we give cold treatment, then that time the white adipocytes try to become brown adipocyte, but they don't become completely brown adipocyte. The intermediate that it is there is known as beige adipocyte. Until unless the stimulus is there, you can visualize beige adipocyte. Once you remove the stimulus, the beige adipocyte, you will not be able to see beige adipocyte.
So how do these beige adipocytes differ from brown adipocytes in terms of activities?
in case of activities, this brown means this brown. See, in white adipocyte, it is one lipid droplet and one mitochondria. Brown adipocyte, it is multilocular and has multi mitochondria. Okay. Whereas in beige adipocyte, I will show you a image of beige adipocyte. Okay, this one, the SML treated 100x, what you are seeing is nothing but beige adipocytes. Okay.
Right.
So this is what beige adipocytes look like. It is in between white adipocyte and brown adipocyte, because means they will have one mitochondria, but the lipid droplet they will be having will be multilocular. So it is like in between white and brown.
So in terms of activities, how do they differ from brown adipocytes?
In case of activities, brown adipocytes are permanently present in our neck portion, whereas beige adipocytes we don't see beige adipocytes unless we give stimulus to them.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned, for example, brown adipocytes help in like what was the thermogenesis or something like that? Am I right?
Non-severing thermogenesis.
Yeah. So do beige adipocytes, for example, do the same thing?
Yeah, that's what it happens now. White adipocytes, they try to become brown adipocytes, but they don't become completely brown adipocytes. They become an intermediate known as beige adipocytes, and they help in non-severing thermogenesis.
Okay. Right.
Oh, so Swastik?
Yeah.
Swastik, how do you treat this cooling effect? Like you are saying, to convert white to brown, you are cooling thing, right?
Yeah.
So
Not
how
cooling.
are you cooling in
We take the mouse cage and we keep it in cold. We keep it in a cold room for 4 hours, and after that we bring the mouse cage and we collect the sample.
So
cold room
that you bring it to room temperature.
Okay.
After that you bring it to room temperature for characterization.
Not room temperature. We will take them out and we will directly kill them and we will collect samples. There will be no gap in between them.
Okay. So you will collect the sample in the cooling condition only.
Yeah.
Okay.
In 4 degree only we collect the samples.
I have one question that in the small infants, when they are born, they have lots of the brown cells in their body. Okay. But after sometimes they lose their brown cells.
Yeah.
So why this thing? Is there any relation with that? This temperature or this the amount of any chemical is reduced in their body?
See, in case of babies, the amount of energy that they require is more with respect to that of adults. Okay, so if you will check also, the temperature of babies will be little higher than that of normal adult temperature. Okay, and the babies will be always active. They will be doing something, not idle like us. They will be totally active. And when the body is active, when you do exercise, then also the brown adipocytes get activated. Okay, that's the only reason when babies have more brown adipocytes. And coming to adult, once you become adult, you start storing more and more energy in your body in form of white adipocytes. So once you start storing more and more form of energy and you are not using brown adipocytes, you are not doing exercise, nothing, then at that time, if body, this is simple thing, if body don't need something, then it will start decreasing its amount slowly. So that's the reason when we grow up and become adult, then at that time the brown adipose number decreases or amount decreases.
Okay. Also, one thing, there's in the baby when they are born, that small infants, one gene was activated. Suddenly they was born. That is the thermogenin. But it is the same kind of, is there is gene or genetic phenomenon when we put in a mice in cold or any animals into cold, and then this type of gene was activated, and as a result, that white adipocyte turns into brown adipocytes.
Again. Sorry.
When the small infants are born, at that time there was a gene called thermogenin, I think. This gene was activated, and which gene is prevent from the heat shock of the baby. So is there in same kind of the genetic phenomenon when it is the white adipocyte to the turning into the brown adipocyte? Because in the infant
The
is
genetic, see, listen, the genetic phenomena or the genetic influence, what we are having here is still unknown. Because when it comes to genetics and genetic, when you talk about genetics, that means you are including the pathway or the mechanism how it goes, how one gene goes and binds to other, or how one gene produces an enzyme or protein that goes and binds to one transcription factor. They are still unknown. These factors are still unknown, that how they go and bind, how these are activated. These still people are working on it. This is because a really new, this is a really new topic. Adipocyte came into around 2007 or 8. It came. People started looking into adipocyte. This is really new topic because lot of people now are reporting that this, upon activating this chemical we get browning. Upon activating that chemical we see there is decrease in brown. So these are the things people are reporting now. Mechanism is still yet unknown.
okay. Thank you. There is also one question in the chat box.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions in chat box. Um Thank you, ma'am, thank you, ma'am, for the compliment. And then it comes to Ritam. Ritam is saying, is there any genetic influence in the browning phenomena? So coming to genetic influence, as I said to Sabuz earlier, that we don't know the pathway, we don't know what genes get activated, how they regulate all these factors. We are still unknown. So mostly people are working on it every day, every month. 2 or 3 papers are coming on adipocytes, so we are looking into it. Mostly they are not regarding this the pathway or something. Once we get to know pathway, we will soon discuss it here only in IU. And uh, there is a comment from Rohan M. I am from Aizer, Kolkata. I get to know about this discussion from Sabuz. Thank you. Thank you very much for the nice presentation. Welcome. I have a question. How the UCP1 protein changes the proton gradient in mitochondria? Will it not affect the whole mechanism of ATP production? UCP1 protein, see, in case of electron transport chain, what happens? Now the proton gradient that is formed in in the outer and inner membrane of mitochondria is leaked through F naught stock through F naught stock, and while the leakage is taking place, they produce a lot of energy, and that energy is used for forming ADP to ATP. Okay. How the UCP1 protein changes the proton gradient? It does not change the proton gradient. It only leaks the proton gradient like normally it happens. And what it does, it utilizes those energy to maintain the body temperature, not for the production of ATP. Will it not affect the whole mechanism of ATP production? Obviously, it will affect the whole mechanism of ATP production, but at the time when you are in cold, you don't need much ATP. Rather, you need your body temperature to be stable. So, what your body prefers more is the thing that the tissues or organs will do for them. Once you are in cold, you if you start playing, if you go into cold and you start playing, then at that time maybe ATP production is required. Then at that time ATP production will take place, and it's not that ATP is produced only in brown adipocytes. ATP is produced wherever there is mitochondria, whereas this non-swelling thermogenesis is present and is specific to only brown adipocyte tissue. So if one organ is maintaining body temperature, the other organs can produce ATP for body need. I think this much question is there in the comment section.
I have one comment here. Like you told that due to the leakage of proton gradient, the energy, like the temperature increases. Is this the same mechanism as what happens when the current flows through a electrical resistance circuit? There also, due to the heat dissipation, energy is produced. So is that in the membrane? So membrane is a liquid which is a highly insulating substance. We can say it's a resistor. So is that heat dissipate due to the flow of current?
This is recently we are working on this thing because there are a lot of sphingolipids and lipids in mitochondria, And my PI is basically looking into that what happens to the sphingolipids and lipids when this leak takes place. And for this, a lot of experiment has happened. Means we have done a lot of experiment, and we are trying to do a lot of experiment. But due to lockdown, everything is in pause now. If lockdown would not have happened, then till May we would have released this paper from this lab, because we have been working on this from last 1 year or 1.5 years regarding, as far as I know. They are working on these sphingolipids that are present in the mitochondria, the lipids, the sphingolipids, how they help in proton leakage, and what happens to the structures of the sphingolipids when this proton leakage takes place, and all these things they are looking into. So if I get some data, if our paper gets published, once it gets published, I will share with you. But until unless, it's I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, it's okay.
Bhaiya, I have one more question. Our body temperature is regulated by the hypothalamus in our brain. As you told that you till now don't know the genetic mechanism behind the activation of these adipocytes. So is known now that what hormones from outside the adipocytes activate them, or these adipocytes are capable
we know that is epinephrine.
Okay.
This undergoes through beta adrenergic nervous system. This is also is there. When this epinephrine goes and binds to its ligand, it undergoes through beta adrenergic pathway, and it activates the brown adipocytes tissue. But how it activates, that we don't know. We only know this much, that due to the cell signaling, due to the signaling through the neurons, this happens.
We conclude it here.
Okay, if there is no question, so let us thank the speaker and congratulate him for this nice talk. Yeah.
Thank you.
We should also thank the organizers, the second year.
Yeah, definitely. This is a very nice initiative to bring out you in the online platform.